Welcome everybody. Pretty excited today, and that was a great, very warm. I cannot really appreciate how thoughtful. And what's neat about that is what you're hearing is authenticity, and that's what we're going to do today. Here we are, and coming from my home here in Annapolis, Maryland. We're talking about being authentic, and over the next hour or so, we're going to talk about literally changing your life, changing your health, and putting you in position where you can literally make a change for the better for yourself, your family, your friends, your community. And I got to tell you, I'm giddy with enthusiasm because I see it really becoming a reality. But before we go there, I'd like to start off by asking all of you one question. 2016, and we've turned a page, we're into a new year, and I know many of you may have thought about New Year's resolutions. Over 50% of people actually write them down or think about them and say, I'm going to change this year. 50%. Yet 92% are unsuccessful. So we're going to start off today by really focusing on you and asking one question. Actually, I'm going to ask you two questions, but the first question is, if you could do one thing this year, whether you are a client, a coach, a business leader, or someone wrangled you and brought you today to learn more about what we're doing, what's the one thing that just gets you excited that you want to accomplish in 2016? Make it big, make it specific. Not, oh, I want to get healthy, or oh, I want to get rich, or, really make it specific. What would you really would change it? You just get excited about it. It would be that important. It would fundamentally change the construct and send you on a different trajectory. Because that's really my question to you. And the second part is this. How are you going to get it done? Do you have a plan? Do you have actually a blueprint of someone that's come before you that's actually done that you can follow? If you were going up Mount Everest, you would watch every step and go to the next step because you don't want to die. Well, the same thing here. Do you have a specific plan? And do you have somebody? Do you have a mentor or a coach to help you? Third is, do you have the skills, the strategies, and the tools to be successful? And the last part, can you create an environment around you to help you? If the answer to any of those are no, or I haven't thought about it, then you've come to the right place today, because we're going to spend some time really focusing on the facts. Yes, I'm a scientist, I'm a physician, and the things we are going to talk about are all scientifically proven. They're things that are actually out there that have been shown to be the most effective as we learn more about how we live, the society we live in, the world we live in, and the psychology of how we adapt and make the necessary changes in ourselves at a time when change is constant. So I'm going to actually put on my little lecture hat here and move over here to my board, and we're going to talk about that. Because, if 92% of people are unsuccessful at changing their habits, what is the situation? Diets? 85% of people that go on a diet gain their weight back within 2 years. Gym? I was getting my hair cut the other day. I guess you can probably see it. And my hairdresser was saying, I couldn't get into the gym yesterday. I tried and I couldn't get in. I said, just wait till March. There won't be anybody there. And how about startups? You may be thinking, well, I'm going to get one of those franchises or mini franchises, or I'm going to set up in the kiosk at the mall, and I'm going to change my life. 95% of people that try that actually fail. So if that's true, what is the science behind that? And it's called the diminishing intent, the law of diminishing intent. We basically have great intentions, and at the beginning of the year, we feel we can start anew. It's like you've turned over the page, and we start. But over time, as you can see, our intentions diminish, and we don't actually make it. In fact, if we look at this diagram, we may have great ideas right now. You are passionate with, I'm going to change myself. This morning I was working out this morning on my treadmill before I was getting ready for today. And on TV, they had somebody on Good Morning America who's talking about the 0-calorie diet, okay? You can eat these foods, and the foods actually offset because it takes more energy to burn the food. So in other words, you don't have to do anything. But then he shows them, and you got to be a master chef to prepare these things. So it sounds great here, but it's not practical. In the Habits of Health, which we'll talk about, for the last 7 years, we've been talking about the thermic energy of burning calories when you eat. And we have a great plan that's simple, where you don't have to do all these wild stuff. You just simply follow the basic directions, and we're going to show you how to do that. So these things are people trying to think, oh, I could do it easy. Well, I can tell you, for all of you, to change yourself, to change your status, your stars in this world, it's not going to happen easy. It can be simple, you can be supported, And that's what we're talking about, because most people are excited with basic passion, but it's naive passion. And they're looking over at this great goal and they're saying, yep, I'm here, I'm going to be here. And they watch Rocky on TV where he goes from being a bum to being a hero in 2 hours. But the reality is there's a U-shaped curve that leads you to that point. And as you start down that path, the very first day, that intention's great. But over time, when you get down in here somewhere, bottom line, you're by yourself, it's not working, you don't see the results, you don't have the support, and you're most probably going to quit. So what we do is we use a very different principle. We use a coach, and whoever invited you here today is one of our coaches that basically we work together to improve our health together. And we use something called WHOOP. WHOOP is, you know what your wish is, you know what the outcomes, you know how it will change you. And that's where most people stop. They fantasize about how great 2016 is going to be, but they don't go to the O, which is the obstacles, the things that are going to get in the way. You may be excited today, but you go to see your back and your boss is all over you on Monday. Or basically, you see that hot fudge sundae that you just can't stand, to leave it alone. I was in New York City the other day. We got to ring the New York Stock Exchange the bell, which was pretty cool. And we were at a lunch Italian restaurant, and they had this bread, and it was amazing looking. And I had to basically think about all the other parts of this, which I use every day. So I didn't eat that bread. I didn't want to eat that bread. I had a great dinner with my wife later on, and I had everything I wanted. So the point is, you got to have the support, you got to have a plan, so when you have these obstacles, and that's what our coaches will help you do, to move you over here, because when you're down here somewhere and you're on your own, you're going to quit. That's why 92% of people quit. So what I'd like to talk about is, basically in a world of fear, poor health, stress, and isolation, we want to bring you together into our community. We got some cool things that we use, and they're very exciting. But bottom line is, what we're about is as individuals, as building a new model of health and life where we have vibrant health, where that's important to us. We don't go to work 20 hours a day to try to become successful at the expense of not being there with our families. We have great relationships. We don't want you to come in if this doesn't make sense to you. We're not trying to convince you. We want you to be here because this sounds good. This is something I want to do. And you want you to kick the tires and come do this with us. We're having fun. 3, we love our work. I got to tell you, I got up this morning, Saturday morning. People would think, what are you doing working on a Saturday? Can't tell you, I would rather not be any other place than where I am right now. Financial freedom being the opportunity to live, to be able to work out of my house. You know, for 20 years, I worked 100 hours a week. Yes, I made good income, but at great expense to my physical health and also to my mental health. And last but not least, helping our communities. We're reaching out, and I just talked to a group here in Annapolis that Lori's running in the other room, and basically they're all excited about helping our community. So, sounds great, but how do you make all that work? So I want to talk to you a little bit about how that all happened. So, 23 years ago, I became a critical care physician, and I basically made the decision to really focus on helping people create health. But what I was doing was reacting to disease. I really wasn't helping anybody create health. So I decided to leave that and move upstream. Now, in 2001, when I left, bottom line is I didn't know very much about business. But I got a book on business, and it was called Good to Great by Jim Collins. I liked the sound of that. Great, you know, because, I mean, even though I wasn't great at the time, I wanted to become at least good, if not great. And in that book, he talks about the hedgehog and the fox. The fox is basically always trying something new, very clever, sleek, and the greatest idea, kind of like the New Year's resolutions, right? The greatest idea, but actually the reality is the hedgehog only thought about one thing. How do I protect myself, my family, gather food, and be in position with this one great concept that allows me to thrive? And the fox would attack and try different ways to attack to eat the hedgehog. The hedgehog, by the way, is like a little armadillo crossed with a porcupine. And the fox has a new cunning strategy to get ahead and go to get the hedgehog, and the hedgehog basically rolls up in a ball. The fox gets some spines in his mouth, and that's the end of that. And then he goes out to try something else. Well, the hedgehog is literally, what are the 3 principles, the nexus of 3 ideas that make great companies? And what's cool about that, I added my own little thing. We're a purpose-driven versus profit-driven. In other words, we're about finding something that we can do better than anybody else, that we're passionate about, that we're the best at. No one can do it better than us. And the third is there's a need in the world, and there's an economic driver so that it can compensate, so we're able to support and thrive. It's kind of like the body. You know, we don't focus on building red blood cells, right? We focus on being a well human being The red blood cells are in the background. Well, profit's coming for all our stockholders maybe listening today. The good news is that profit-driven companies are the most, purpose-driven companies are the most successful. So we're very excited about that. But at the same point, not only do we want to create a new health company versus the big business of sick care, which I came from, and build a new way of helping people, we wanted to work to create optimally healthy people. You can have a great business and great individuals as your clients that both become successful. So we focused and created the trilogy of optimal health, which literally is the intersection of physical, mental, and financial, which creates optimal health. Because I found early on that without that, our chances of long-term success weren't that great. You needed to also attach the psychosocial and the other areas, because you can't really get someone healthy. 85% of people lose weight gain back within 2 years because they're not changing their underlying structure. So basically what we've done is we have been working on this for 15 years. And just for a moment, which is exciting about 2016 and why I'm so giddy with enthusiasm, is that we're actually coming out of our beta mode, which we've been working on. Beta mode simply meaning that you've basically been listening, really learning, growing, not saying this is just what we are, but continuing to improve that iterative process. And Google for the first 5 years, if you remember, they had on the bottom of their site, we are in a beta mode. For 5 years, one of the most powerful companies in the world was in a beta mode. Well, we've taken a little longer. We've been 15 years working on this since the inception when I left critical care. But we're at a point over the last 12 months, we're coming into prime. We're actually putting ourselves in position. This should be exciting for our coaches and for our leaders as well as for our potential clients, because now we can serve our clients. We are basically client-focused. We're about taking care of the individual, not about directly making money for the stockholders. The stockholders are going to do fine. And the beta mode, there's some things we've done this year to get ready as we move into 2016 that are being launched as we speak, that are going to really make this a breakout year for us. So I'm going to spend a little time on that. We've actually created what I like to call our optimal health community. And this involves today, in the other room, we have a bunch of coaches and a bunch of clients that are here. We also have the CEO of our company, Meg Sheets, and one of the top trainers from the company in Ralston that are here. So we're working on a Saturday. They're here because we are really excited about what we're doing. We've created this community, which I'm going to talk about here. And the bottom line is we put you in the center. So remember over here when we were talking about not having the support? We're going to give you the support, put you in the center, and you're going to have your own health coach. Your personal health coach, not somebody you're going to call up to an 800 number, but your personal health coach is going to work directly with you and guide you, surround you from the comfort of your home. And the nice thing, it doesn't cost anything more than regular food. All these things we're going to give you, literally a part of the package, the comprehensive program of Take Shape for Life. One of the things we're doing is optimal health products. Now, if you look at this, this is actually in, they were talking about my books earlier, but in the Habits of Health, the system we use, we talked about before, our energy in is more than our energy out, and we have fat accumulation. This is about 68% of us. So we work on our physical transformation by first putting you on our meal replacements, which are best in class. They've been around since 1980. We continue to improve them. And you'll start losing weight, and you'll lose it relatively quickly. Visceral adiposity goes away, which is the harbinger of all the disease state. About 90% of the medications are a direct result of being overweight and making poor health choices. And then basically as you lose that, we're going to start moving you more, but not right away. As you feel better and have more energy during that teachable moment, we'll get you to the point where your energy in matches your energy out. Now that's how you create long-term negative calories. In other words, your calories match your calories in, match your calories out. What's cool about that, we have our amazing products. We have our 5-in-1 program, which helps people lose weight quickly and safely. It's been well studied. It's exclusive now to Take Shape for Life. And we're adding a whole bunch of new. We're very sensitive to what people want in both the environment as well as basically the ingredients. And we have a whole bunch of cool things that are coming out throughout the year and next year. And I was with the Food Technology Group, and I can't tell you about all of them, but there's some amazing stuff happening this year. So we're excited about that. Second thing is the Habits Health System. It's the comprehensive system that many of you heard about today, about not just what you eat, but how you move, how you sleep, how you handle stress. And we're actually in the process of evolving that to make that so user-friendly that it'll become your companion during the day. Having a Fitbit or one of these devices is great, but it's just data. What we do is we make that data make sense, and we have a coach, which is the third part, which is this amazing empathetic person that will be by your side to help you. The cool part about that, it all fits together in this infrastructure where you get all these things. And I don't need to go over this. You can sit down with your health coach and go over all the pieces. But we actually focus on a comprehensive approach. And what we see now is that if you do the things that we talk about, it creates predictable transformation. It literally will change your health and change your life. So with that, let me go back to the question I asked you earlier. Do you really want to change this year? Do you want to make a difference? Do you want to be part of something that's literally going to change the United States and then the world? We're here to serve. That's what we do. We love to help people, and we love to help you. So ask yourself, am I going to try one of those crazy things? You know, I always kid around about the one you put on your stomach, you know, and it goes like this, and the person's drinking a beer and having some popcorn and saying, you know, that this is going to lose weight and you're going to get rid of your belly. Well, you should really put it here and say, what was I thinking about when I bought that, right? Because there's no way it's going to work. What's going to work is making a decision. 2, it's having the support structure. It's 3 is deciding that this year, unlike any other year, I'm not going to sit here and be naive. I'm actually going to be informed, passion. I'm going to get on this path. I'm going to work with my health coach. I'm going to be part of a system that's going to change the country. And I'll end and close with this. Bottom line is, as you look through, and I can't even stand to watch the news, there's so many things that are fearful. People are unhealthy. They're looking for gimmicks and fast fixes. We're not a fast fix organization, but we are one that works. And what we're looking for is, right now, we've helped probably 100,000 people over the years create health in their life. What we're looking for is to literally change this country. And for 15 years, I've been saying, let's go ahead and get America healthy. But for us to make that a reality, it requires more and more of us. So basically, think about joining us to be part of this organization. Whether you decide to do it and just talk to people you know and say, you know what, you might want to take a look at this if you really want to get healthy. Because it's going to take personal responsibility. Unfortunately, we don't have blue-green algae from the bottom of the volcano or tree bark from the lower Amazon that can miraculously change your health and change your life. We don't have a startup that you can sign up for $12.99 and suddenly you're living in a mansion somewhere. But what we do have is a program and a plan and a group of people that are just nutty enough to think they can change the world. We know we can help you with your health. Make that decision and come with us, and let's get America healthy. Thank you so much. Now, the second part of this live presentation is, you know, when you start an idea and no one listens to you or pays attention to you, that idea just becomes an idea. The reality of this idea takes shape for life, this mission to get America healthy. There's been so many people that have been so important. But there's one that stands out as my partner, my best friend, somebody that literally has done so much to help us build an infrastructure to take shape for life. He's an incredible man. He's a great husband, a great father, a great grandfather now, and a kind individual that has some tremendous experience. He's an entrepreneur, been an entrepreneur his whole life, has basically been in the industry of helping individuals change their health and change their life over the last 15 years with me. He's an outstanding citizen, and he's got more knowledge than you can even imagine. And I'd love to bring him on now as he's going to talk to you more about how, if you decide to pay it forward and come with us, you can do both. You can become a client, you can become a coach, you become a client and a coach together. But if you do decide, he's going to talk to you, maybe some more thoughts about why that might make sense to you, how it can change your health, your life, and literally give you the opportunity to be optimally healthy. So it's my pleasure to bring on now Integrated Presidential, Dan Bell. Dan.
Well, thank you, Dr. A. It's really a pleasure to be with you guys. What an outstanding presentation. I'm sitting here watching you, and I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to follow that? I mean, we could all go home right now. But it's so exciting, you know, when you think about all the people across the United States that are watching this. I mean, literally, there are thousands of people around the United States, and quite frankly, it's a little bit intimidating. But, you know, what's really great about it is, you said, people have come together today because, you know, they're looking for ways to change their life. And I know you've already had quite an incredible day today already. And, you know, as I said, it's a hard act to follow you, but hopefully I'll be able to give you some additional value today. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to actually pull up a PowerPoint, but don't freak out. I'm not going to get into any kind of didactic presentation with you today. Actually, what I'm going to do is show you some really pretty pictures. And the whole idea behind this is actually to get you to think. And so let me just indulge me a second. Let me bring that up for you so I can do that. And I'll go ahead and get started. And as you can see, the title of my talk is A New Year and a New Direction. And you know, I recognize we have a diverse audience today. We've got guests, we've got clients, we've got coaches, we've got leaders in the company. And so I'm going to be trying to talk to all of you, but maybe at sometimes I'll be talking to one group versus another. And you know, if you're a guest, you've already learned a lot about Take Shape for Life today. You've learned about the trilogy of optimal health, and Dr. A talked to you, gave you the broader vision of that we're a transformational company, that you know, our mission is really to get United States healthy first and then the world. And you know, Dr. A challenged you in the beginning. He said, I want you to think about one important thing you'd like to get done this year. And kind of that's where I'd like to come in today, is to continue in that thought. And my focus here today would be as if you and I were sitting down at a table over a cup of coffee, and we're just having a private conversation. And what I would like you to do today is maybe reflect a little bit on where your life is and where you'd want it to go. So, you know, it's 2016. I'm going, wow, it's 2016. From my perspective, wasn't that long ago, you know, I was sitting in a hayfield on a cool August night listening to Janis Joplin and The Who. Yes, I did go to Woodstock. And, you know, I realized that probably 75% of you weren't even born there at that time. And so the old adage is really true, that time really does fly, because for me it doesn't seem that long ago. And if we look at a more recent event, you know, we turned the century, the turn of the century was a big event for everybody. And you know, remember the Y2K thing, and people thought computers were going to crash and all that sort of thing. And wow, that was 16 years ago already. We're 16 years into the new century already. And you know, when you think about your life, you know, life has a way of happening when you're doing something else. And as I've gotten older, I realize just how fleeting time is. And you know, we're only given a certain finite amount of time in our lives. And what we do with that is really our choice. I know there's things we can do to prolong it. We can read Dr. A's Habits of Health, and we can practice that. We can move towards longevity. But at some point, there's an end at some point. And our time is the only time that we actually have. And some of us have used that time wisely, and some of us have squandered that time. In fact, some of you are saying, geez, Dan, I need to make up for some lost time. I'm not quite as far ahead in my life, or living my life the way I want to. And you know, in some ways, we could do an analogy to the hourglass. You know, our life is kind of like the sands that flow through an hourglass. And you know, at first, in an hourglass, that sand seems to flow really, really slow. But as it gets closer to the bottom of that first funnel, it just seems to scream by. And isn't that the way it is with us as human beings? I mean, when we're children, you know, we can't wait till we get into grade school, right? We can't wait from grade school to get into junior high, and then from junior high into high school, and you know, learn to drive a car, go to college, and then, you know, we become adults. Many of us start our careers. We get married. We have children. We progress in our professions, and all the while, the sands of our time just keeps going through. And so, life does seem to happen when we're doing something else. And every one of us, I would predict, have thought about, you know, what our ideal life would be. And we live today in the reality of what that is actually like. And, you know, for some of us, the results have been as we expected. For others, they've been better than we've expected. And for others, they've been met with maybe some disappointment and some unfulfilled expectations. And again, all the while, the sands just kind of keep going through the, you know, the hourglass of our lives. And, you know, Henry David Thoreau once wrote, most men lead lives of quiet desperation, and they go to the grave with a song still in them. And, you know, that may be true for some people, but it doesn't have to be true for you, and it doesn't have to be true for me. You know, some people have been very purposeful in their life in terms of designing and creating the future they want. Other people kind of don't think they have control of that. and they seem to let things just happen and react to whatever happens in their life. So the point here is that we can either let things happen, or we can design and build the future that we want to build. But we all know this: if we continue to do the same thing over and over and over again that we've done previously, we're probably going to wind up with the same results. And to think otherwise, is the definition of insanity, right? So here we are in 2016, and the end of the old year, the beginning of the new year is a great time for us to have this personal reflection. It's almost, an automatic wake-up call, I think, for some people. And we can examine the course we've chosen and decide, hey, we're on the right course, or we might say, well, maybe we need to make some meaningful course corrections along the way. And one of the things about the turn of a year is you get to look back at what happened last year. What really went great? What happened? What did I accomplish? What really went well? What could have I done better? What did I do that I wish I hadn't done? But oftentimes we don't ask that deeper and more difficult question, which is what I'm doing with my life leading me in the direction that I really want to go? Now, in 2016, some of the people watching this today had incredible years. I mean, they've had years of improved health, personal prosperity, personal growth. And some folks had years that they're more happy to say goodbye to than to relive. And but that's the other good thing about this time of year, because again, you get to look ahead and you can ask the question, well, what can happen this year? What lies ahead for me? What are my options for this year? What new possibilities do I have that I could do this year? Do I keep going in the direction I'm going in, or do I need to make a course correction? So today you've been exposed to some of those possibilities. Some of you heard some great testimonials. Some of you had a presentation that covered our trilogy. Dr. A just did a phenomenal presentation that really gave you the essence of who we are and what we do and what we're all about. And you've been invited to take advantage of what we call the trilogy of optimal health. Healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances, and to take part of one, two, or all three of those things. So, and those things can open, new horizons for you. So, Dr. A asked you this question, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Are you ready to make some changes? Are some changes in order? Or are you ready to make some changes in 2016 to move your life in the direction that you want it to go in, to do what really matters most to you? If you're a health coach today, you probably sat down with your mentor and set your goals, and you're laying out a plan of action of where you want to go. And for some of you, it's going to be a continuation of the great progress that you had last year. For others of you, it's going to be a breakout year. This is going to be your year. You're going to have a year of exponential growth and acceleration in your business. And then for others of you, it might be a comeback year. Maybe 2015 didn't turn out the way you wanted to, and you have the choice now to make a course correction and look forward to 2016 and say, okay, here's what's going to be different for me this year. In fact, for everybody watching this today, setting goals in your life, getting clear on them is critical if you want to improve, in the important areas of your life. I mean, things just don't happen by chance. They happen when you have a plan and you act on that plan. And Dr. A asked you, okay, what do you want to accomplish this year? And what I would like to do is I would like to further that and take you on a journey of what could be possible for you. So one thing I've learned, and actually, interestingly, Dr. A brought it up today, is that people who are successful, they take personal responsibility for their lives and the results they get. They don't make excuses, or at least they try not to make excuses. They don't play the victim card, and they don't play the blame game. In other words, what I've seen is that successful people in life really own where they are in life. And in my perspective, I understand that where I am today is the result of the choices and decisions I've made over my life. And if I don't like those, if I don't like where I am, I can change that. I have the power to change that. Because I learned a long time ago that for things to get better for me, I had to change. I might not be able to change my environment, but I could change me. And that applies to every single one of us that are watching this today. And there's no better time than right now to begin that. So, you know, if you're not in the best health right now, if you're overweight, if you're tired, if you're on medications, if you're feeling down on yourself, you ask the question, well, what can I do this year to change that reality? Well, one thing you can do is understand that Take Shape for Life can help you. A health coach can help you. Our optimal health community can help you. You do not have to do it alone. That's one of the important powers of what we have. You've seen these incredible transformational stories. Nobody's paid those people to tell those stories. Those are their stories, and those can be your stories as well. You know, if you're stressed out in your chosen profession, if you're burned out, if you don't particularly care for what you do anymore, or you don't like your boss, or you don't like the business that you're involved in, are you going to continue to endure the pain of that, doing something you don't want to do, or are you really interested in making steps maybe to change some of that? One thing I know is this. I know that there's only about 19% of the people that work every day that really like what they do. Another 16% kind of endure it. They sort of like it. But almost 2/3, 65% of people in this country really don't like what they do. And you know, that may not apply to you, but if it doesn't apply to you, it applies to the person sitting to your left and sitting to your right today. And, you know, isn't it a tragedy? Isn't it a tragedy that many people fill their days by being unfulfilled? And so if you want more career options, you know, one of the things that we have in the trilogy is opportunity to do that, to have some options in your life. Take Shape for Life can help you with that. Your business coach can help you with that. What about time? You know, time is the essence of life. Do you have enough quality time in your life? You know, you've probably heard some people have time and they don't have any money, right? Some people have money and they don't have any time, and some people don't have any time or any money, and then there's some people that have both. They have time and they have money. Where are you in that time to money ratio? Do you have enough time to do all the things you want to do? And do you have enough money to do all the things you want to do? And that's a really important question, because listen, if you're stressed out today, if you don't think you have enough time today, let's fast forward 5 years. What is it going to look like for you 5 years from today? Are you going to have more time, or are your commitments going to be larger, your time commitments, with the same number of hours in the day? And you know, in Take Shape for Life, we can actually show you how to create time, to help you get balance in your life. And you know, if you check with your coach, with the people, the person that invited you today, they can teach you and show you all about that. Now, what about financial struggles? If you're struggling financially, if you don't have enough money to make the ends meet, so to speak. I mean, I remember back when Mary and I were first married, we were so broke. You know, payday was like exchange day, right? Had all the bills in one box and we paid them out of the other. And we had more month, quite frankly, than we did money. And I didn't like living like that. What if you don't have enough money to do things you want to do, to take vacation, have experiences with your family? I'm not talking about Rolls Royces or a mansion on a hill somewhere. I'm just talking about having the means to have abundance in your life. Is there a need there for you? And if there is, would you like to change that? And as I said earlier, Take Shape for Life can give you those alternatives. Make no mistake about it. Our business model, this opportunity for healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finance, comes with an economic component that is very powerful. And it can take you wherever you want to go, whether that would be supplemental income, to replace an income, to have financial independence, to have time freedom. We have people all across the spectrum in Take Shape for Life that have accomplished those things. So Take Shape for Life, our optimal health community, your health coach, we can help you in that area if you want to. Now, you might be thinking this. You might think, okay, I've heard all this stuff before. I'm a little bit skeptical. Is this real? Does this really work? Can I do it? And is it true? Will people be there to help me? Will I be supported in doing it? So if you're skeptical, I don't blame you. I mean, I understand. I get where you're coming from in that regard. But what I want you to do is to actually look around at the people that you're associated with. Talk to the people that have been successful on our program. You know, Dr. A talked about predictable transformation. Talk to them. Talk to our coaches that have been are doing well by doing good, by helping other people in their life. And you will see that the evidence is pretty compelling that yes, it works. Yes, you can do it. And yes, you will get support and the guidance that you need. You know, the coaches I have the pleasure of working with, what you'll find is a commonality. They're real people. They're authentic people. They have big hearts. They care about other people. And quite frankly, they're probably a lot like you. So there's probably a lot of commonalities between your philosophy on life and our philosophy on life. And maybe there's a marriage here where we have what you might be looking for. You know, if you talk to our coaches, one of the underlying things you'll find is that they're having a lot of fun. And the reason they're having a lot of fun because there's a great deal of fulfillment in our business because they're pursuing what matters most to them, and they get the opportunity to come along somebody in their life and really help them at whatever level they need to be helped at. Now, I acknowledge, because I came from this point in my life where some of you might be sitting there saying, wow, this sounds really good. And you might have some self-doubts and you're wondering, can I really do it? Whatever the it is, whether that it is to, you know, lose some weight, get healthier, become part of this mission, become a coach. And if you feel that way, all I got to say to you is, you know, welcome, welcome to the human race. Because one of the things I realize is that we're more alike than we are different. And all of us share many of the same feelings. It's just part of the human family. And but what I have come to understand in working with people now almost 40 years is that human beings have this tremendous potential to become more than they ever thought they could be. And they can become what they really dream about. But there's a secret to unleashing that potential. And that must first be of discovering what Dr. A talked about, which was really identifying what do you truly want. You know, everybody that I know has had dreams in their life. We all have dreams, and they're all different for everybody. And, you know, some of you may have had bigger dreams when you started out in life and they've been diminished. Some of you may have gotten discouraged with your dreams and you put them on a shelf somewhere and they've gotten dusty. And maybe it's time to bring them out and to shake that dust off. Or maybe it's time to have the courage to dream again. And here's what I know. I know that if the dream comes first, your answers will follow. In other words, if you know what you want, you'll figure out how. And many people don't know how because they don't have a vehicle or a environment or an infrastructure to which they can apply themselves. So we deliver that and take shape for life. But your dreams really they spark that desire, that initiative. They give you a clear and compelling future where you can stand in that future and act in the now to move yourself towards that future. And the clearer they're defined, the better they're defined, the stronger they pull on you. I always say this, that you make the dream and then the dream makes you. And what I mean by that is that the most important thing about having dreams and acting on those dreams are not the accomplishment of the dreams. It's not the goal that you achieve. It's what happens inside of you that causes you to change, to become the person that you need to be, to make those steps, to have the courage, to fight the fear, you know, to have enough faith to step out and to do something new. And here's what I know about that. I know when the dream is compelling enough, when it's big enough, the facts really don't count. It doesn't really matter where you come from. It doesn't matter that you're in really poor health. You can change that. It doesn't matter if you want to go in business that you are shy and you can't talk to people. If your dream is big enough, those facts aren't going to count. So, but going back to what Dr. A said, you know, you have that ability inside you. You don't have to do it alone, but you're going to need to own it. You're going to need to take the responsibility for doing it. So let's look at those three areas of the trilogy and which of those three areas, healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances, make sense to you. If you think about that, do any of those make sense to you? And let me ask you this provocative question, which is, what could possibly prevent you from achieving whatever results you desire this year? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it self-discipline? You know, the only place where your dream becomes impossible is in your own thinking. And so if that's true, and I believe that's true, the important thing is not to self-sabotage yourself. If you have fear, what I would say to you is look it straight in the eye and act, because action always cures fear. If you have doubt, understand that, as Shakespeare said, our doubts are traitors, and they make us lose the game we oft might win by failing an attempt. In other words, if you never get on the playing field because you have doubt, you never have an opportunity to win. So don't listen to that voice in your head that tells you you can't do it. Listen to the one that tells you you can do it. And by the way, you're not doing it alone, because you're going to have a team of people that are going to support you in whatever level of the trilogy that you want to participate in. What about discipline? You know, to succeed in any endeavor, it requires discipline and a change in our thinking and a change in our habits. But the rewards for doing so are so much greater. One of my mentors, one of the people who have been most influential in me in my life, is a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. Some of you know who Jim Rohn was. Jim passed away recently. But this is one of his quotes. He says, "We must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is that discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons." So let's talk about, for every fear, for every doubt, for every concept, I can share with you thousands and thousands of stories of success. In our optimal health community, we see lives change on a regular basis. We see transformation in all three areas of the trilogy. And for those that are paying it forward, who are coaches, we say individually, and we see collectively throughout all of this optimal health community. We see how we're really making a difference in people's lives. In fact, this morning, I texted one of my colleagues and I said, today there'll be some lives changed because of this day. And it's one thing, by the way, to get personally healthy or to become financially successful. You get a sense of accomplishment with that. You get a sense of abundance. But it's entirely another thing to have the satisfaction of knowing you helped someone else. And in Take Shape for Life, we've created this environment of success. It's a place where predictable transformation can occur. And not just for the few, but for the many. I could tell you about Vanita. She was a lady I met on a plane once, never knew her. Vanita sat next to me. She weighed 140 pounds. She was nearly hopeless. She had tried everything, totally frustrated. She told me later, after I got to know her, that the day before I met her, that she prayed to God the night before and asked him to send someone to help her. And I happened to show up the next day. And, you know, I knew I could help Vanita. I helped Vanita lose 140 pounds. And what is also cool about that is she helped her daughter lose over 100 pounds. I could tell you about Glenda. Glenda was a referral to me. I never knew Glenda. She was a 39-year-old single school teacher weighing about 280 pounds. When I talked to Glenda, she really wanted to go on the program. She didn't think she had enough money to go on the program. She didn't think she could afford it. But in her physical condition, I saw that she was going down a slippery slope of poor health and a shorter life. And I knew that I could help her. I helped Glenda lose 140 pounds too. Or I could tell you so many stories, these full trilogy stories of our leaders that have had bad health and they restored their health, or they were in dire financial straits, or they were depressed or frustrated at their wits' end because their lives weren't turning out the way they wanted them to turn out. And I look at them now and I see how their lives have been transformed. They're healthy, they have abundance, they have time, and they're living life on their terms, pursuing what matters most to them. And I am personally so grateful to Take Shape for Life, for this vision, for this mission. My wife, Mary, and I would not have the health we have or the financial success that we have without it. And as I wrap up this morning, I sit here in I live on an island in the Gulf of Mexico, and I can look out my right window here. And every day I see sailboats going back and forth on the Gulf. And if you've ever sailed, you know, there's a sense of adventure, of beauty, of serenity. You know, you ride the waves, the air is blowing in your face, you feel the sunlight on your body. It's a beautiful experience, but sailing, you know, is not without its risks. And sailboats may be safer in harbors, but that's not what they were built for. They were built to sail. So staying in a safe harbor will never lead anyone to new destinations or new possibilities or new experiences in their life. So let me ask you, it's 2016. Is it time for you to leave the safety of your harbor? Is it time to perhaps move out of your comfort zones and sail to a new destination in your life? And is there a better version of you waiting in 2016? I just want you to think about that. That's my whole purpose. We're having a cup of coffee, and then we're sitting across at a table. And I want to thank you for taking the time today to be part of our Take Shape for Life 2016 event. And as I said, hopefully some of the things that you've heard today provided value to you. And if anything we shared, again, I want to you know, invite you and encourage you to be part of our optimal health community. We'd love for you to do that, to participate at whatever level seems appropriate to you. And know that you're welcome, whether as a client, as a coach, or as a leader in our business. And lastly, I want to encourage you to get back to the person who invited you to this event today. They can show you how you can get started. And hopefully I get a chance to meet you. And with that, Dr. A, I'm going to turn it back over to you as you wrap up this morning.
Well, Dan, that was amazing and very exciting. As you know, sailing is at the center of my heart, and I love that idea. And for everybody there today that's listening, we're excited for you. We really believe, I was just talking to the CEO a moment ago, is people are looking to do something that really matters, to be authentic, to be part of something, to find out that it is real. That's the one thing we happen to be. We are 100% real. We want you to join us. We want to help you. Please spend time, talk to the person that invited you. And Dan, thank you so much. And as we always say, let's go out and get America healthy.